What's good, bro? The last time I recorded this shit, I got a new camera and I recorded it in slow motion, so this is round two. I don't think it picked up any audio. So let's get it right. Alright, like I said, I won't waste any of your time. 5 valuable skills that you should learn today, or at least start learning one of them as soon as you finish this video. It won't be that hard. The first skill is sales. Now, this is probably one of the most valuable skills that you can learn as a young man, because when you learn how to sell a product, you become infinitely more valuable as a person to the marketplace, because there's no business without sales. Sales are the cornerstone of a business. Think of the foundation to a building. That's what sales is to a business. So there's no business without sales. Sales has transformed my life more than anything else. I'll tell you a story. Before I got into sales, I used to just work random jobs, whatever could pay me anywhere from $12 to $18 an hour. And I'd work these jobs. I worked at Starbucks, and then after Starbucks, I went over to this schooling job, and they paid me like $18 an hour. I was recess coach basically. And when I did this job, I thought I was doing the best that I could do. That's why I was there, right? It was a job that I liked, and it was a job that paid me well enough to get by. But then I started hearing a little bit about sales. Somebody put it into my world, my sphere, and I started thinking, I gotta get into sales. I gotta get into this thing that people are doing, that they're earning a lot of money making commission. And so as the school year ended, I finally decided, you know what, I'm just gonna write it as a goal. I want to work in a sales job, and I'm gonna figure out a way to make it work. So eventually I ran into somebody at my gym, and they put me on to this job that was just commission only sales. And the guy told me, read this book, Psychology of Selling, and you'll be able to learn how to do this thing. I was like, okay. So I picked up the book, I read it, and then I started selling. And here's what a sale is, right? This is super simple, and it's very important to understand. A sale is simply a transaction that occurs when there's value that's provided. So the basic principle is this: when value exceeds price, a transaction occurs. When you're at the mall and you see the shoes that you want, and you really want them, and you think, well, if I get these shoes, I'll feel better about myself, or I'll be able to wear it with this outfit. You've created the value in your mind. And so now you hand them your money happily. So that's the only thing a salesperson does, is they ask questions, they figure out what the person needs, and then they provide value. And so that's extremely valuable in this economy. I was able to make 100 grand in the span of a year from last July to this July just by selling. So the most important thing is to understand how to sell, and then to put yourself in an opportunity that allows you to sell a good amount so that you can have leverage. In other words, you have to put in less input and you get a greater result. That's all leverage is. So that's the first one. But as soon as you learn how to sell, as soon as you become a salesperson, there's no limit to what you can accomplish. There are salespeople earning millions of dollars a year at the highest level, right? And then at a lower level, people are earning 6 figures at least. You'll never be worried about making 6 figures again if you learn how to sell. Because no matter what, in any economy, you can go out there and provide value. So the next skill is learning how to fight. So Joe Rogan, I'm sure you know him, he said that if you learn how to do boxing for 6 months and wrestling for 6 months, you will be able to beat any martial artist in a fight. And I don't take my word for it, take his, but I suggest doing boxing. That's the one that I do. I can't tell you to do jiu-jitsu. I have not tried it that much yet. But you just have to find a fighting style that fits for you, because whichever one you can do in the long term is the one that's going to be the best for you. So for me, I picked up boxing. It's super fun, and on top of that, you get to relieve stress, and you get cardio, and you learn how to fight. You get a 3-in-1. You're learning a new skill, you're getting cardio, and you're learning how to fight. It's a win-win. So get into a boxing gym. Literally, stop what you're doing right now. Go on Google, search boxing gym near me, and you'll find something. And then just do that. Try it out. They usually have a free session, and you can just hop in and see if you like it. It might be worth a shot. So the next one is networking. Networking can be kind of hard to explain sometimes because when you think of networking, you think of kind of like schmoozing with other people in an awkward situation, and you don't really like talking to people that much. So here you are in a situation that you don't even enjoy. But it's not necessarily that. Think of networking more like adding connections. Like, you know how a spider web has all of these little pieces and parts, but there's like that main web, and then you extend it over there and extend it over there. Think of a network as the extensions that you make. So as long as you know people and as long as you can talk to them, you're creating your network. And you've heard this before, your network is your net worth. And it's true because you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So what if you have a low value network? What does that say about you? So your network needs to be able to provide you value in some way, some metric. So when I first started going to this gym, one thing that I did was this. I started talking to people every day. And that's one excellent way to build your network. It doesn't matter where you live, just start talking to people that you haven't talked to before. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, how can I even do this? I'm not that social of a person. Who even wants to listen to me? I had that limiting belief too. And what I realized is this. You don't actually have to talk that much. At least when you first meet this person, right? Because if you can figure out how you can ask people questions that they would enjoy answering, then you figured out people. And here's the simple tip that I'll give you. Talk to one new person every day. It's an actionable step and it's possible. You don't have to do that much. Talking to one new person a day can start off with you saying hi to a stranger. You're gonna feel it in your chest. You're not gonna want to do it. But if you do it, you've made progress. That's the first thing you can do. And then after you've done that, you can take it up a notch and you can give somebody a compliment. You can say, oh, I like how you dress. Or, oh, I like your shoes. You get the idea. But basically what I would do, the compliment that I would give people is I'd tell guys in the gym that they've built a nice physique or that they're jacked. And everybody likes a compliment. That's the thing. When it's done correctly, everybody likes a compliment. I wouldn't go complimenting women for the most part, not a good idea. But for men, it works. Just obviously the main thing is that you have to actually mean it. It has to come from the bottom of your heart. You can't give a compliment and it's ingenuine. People will be able to tell. So it has to be something that you sincerely feel that you admire about this person, and then it'll come up when you express it to them. So that's the most important thing for that. I've made so many friends in the gym just by giving people compliments. And that increased my network, and people were able to provide value to me just in the same way that I provided value to them by talking to them. And I became somebody that people liked to talk to. It's possible. I was the most antisocial, introverted person. I didn't even like to have a conversation with my family. And now I'm out here in the gym and everybody is talking to me. How did I do it? I started small because the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So take that single step and just talk to one new person today, and then do it again tomorrow, and then the day after. You can do this. All right, the next one, the fourth skill is communication. So what is communication really? Communication is not what you say, but what the other person perceives from what you have said. So what do I mean by that? You can say, I love you, and you've communicated the words, I love you, but the person does not feel loved because of the way that you said it, right? So here's the thing about communication is it's a skill that you develop over time. And there are things that can help you to communicate better. Obviously, books are a great way to learn how to communicate better, but the most important thing is you have to obviously take action on that. So one thing, for example, is I learned how to communicate better by listening to the audiobook How to Win Friends and Influence People, because it teaches you things that you shouldn't do, communication strategies, how to be a more effective person when you're communicating. For example, in my life, a lot of times people will do things in the house. Like, for example, my brother will leave the dishes in the sink, and it's supposed to be his day to wash dishes. And I'll be like, I want to come over there, and in my heart, I just want to get so mad and be like, can't you see, like, just, bro, wash the dishes. What are you doing? But I realized that that wouldn't be effective. And so I just tell him, hey, bro, next time, can you wash the dishes in the nighttime? It might not always work, but I'm asking him for the future. I'm not focused on the past event. And so that's one tip, right? Be future thought oriented. Don't focus on what somebody has already done. Focus on what we can do in the future to improve the situation. That's one tip. The other thing is learning how to speak well. Learning how to convey your message in the way that you want to convey it by pausing. Somebody asks you a question, pause. 1, 2, 3 seconds. And think about what you're going to say. Think about if you really mean it or if you just want to respond. Stop being in a conversation just to respond when you can be in a conversation to listen and understand the other person. The other thing too is you need to stop using filler words. Unfortunately, most of the people who need this the most have already clicked off the video, but your message is so diluted by your ums, by your likes, by, you know what I mean? I don't know what you mean. So stop saying it. And if I do know what you mean, then you'll know. But if you keep putting an and a like and a like and a like there every single time, your message just becomes worthless. It's like diluting orange juice with water. It tastes nasty. Why would you do it? Why would you dilute your juice with water? Your message is good enough. Just pause. Think about what you're going to say. And then say it. Okay. Now, lastly, the last skill, now that we have, everybody else has already left the video except for the real ones, I'll give you probably the most interesting skill to have, and you're gonna like this one. This one is the wild card skill. Now, I can't tell you exactly what this is for you, but I can tell you what it is for me. So the wild card skill is that one skill that makes you a unique person, right? So I talked about all these skills like boxing and sales, communication and networking, which are all great skills to have. But what differentiates you from other people? What can you do that other people can't do? For me, it's playing piano. And of course, other people can play piano. But how many people can you name off of the top of your head that play piano well? You probably know 1 or 2 people tops that can actually play it well. So what does that make you? Unique. If you're the person that does that skill. So for you, it could be playing guitar, it could be learning magic tricks, it could be telling jokes, but you need to pick up on what your natural talent is. For me, it is playing piano. I have a gift for it. I can actually just play with, I guess, relative ease. Of course, I put hours and hours practicing into it, but I stayed committed to it, and so I got good at it. What is your natural skill that people have always said, you're good at that? That's what you need to practice and hone in on. And stop playing video games and just practice that skill. It makes you a much more interested and well-rounded person. Being the person that, if you go to a party, he can bring his guitar, or he can play the piano there, or he does magic tricks, so he'll entertain us. You want to be that person. Because that person is interesting. That person is cool. That person is the one that people like to spend time around, because at least he has something that he can provide value with. He can play the piano for us, and it's relaxing. We like it. So you want to be that person that has that wild card skill. Don't be the person who just plays video games and doesn't really have anything to offer. So, anyways, here are your 5 skills that you need to learn. I'll repeat them again, that way you know, but here are your 5 skills. Sales. The way you can get into sales is by talking to more people. You'll find out somebody you know does sales. There's actually a lot of people that do sales. Or you can go online and find a sales website. Or like Indeed. I don't know if you have Indeed where you live. You can find a sales job on Indeed. Next was learning how to fight, boxing. Man should be dangerous but civilized. Third is your network. Build a network of people around you that can provide value to you, and you have to figure out how you can provide value to them. Fourth is communication. Stop using the damn filler words, bro. Like, I get it, but stop doing it. And the last one is your wild card skill. Whatever you're naturally good at, whatever you're naturally inclined at, is what you should focus on developing. And yeah, that's it. If this found value to you, or if you found value from this, leave me a comment and tell me which skill you're going to try out or which one you think is the most valuable out of the 5. And yeah, I'm going to be focusing on an uploading schedule, so pretty soon I'll update you with that so that you know when I'm going to be posting consistently. But that's it for today. Peace.